Uh, these videos, the last two updates I've done are in two parts. Why? Because somebody always calls me in the middle of my updates, and as soon as I get a phone call, it cuts my blogging off for the phone call, which is upsetting. Wish there was like a setting where I could just block my phone from, just send my call straight to voicemail. There probably is a setting like that. Anyway, I'm riding through Texas Southern, and it's like, whoa, all the students here are black. This is probably an HBCU. I have to stop. If there's a place where there's just all black people, and there's a black dude riding around doing Shakespeare, it's like these are the people that I should be bringing that I'm trying to bring the Shakespeare to. I mean, the Shakespeare's for everybody, but like, especially for my own community. So I find the theater department of Texas Southern, find the building, I walk in, and I ask, hey, where's the dean's office, or where's the main office? Somebody's like, oh, I think it's back here, and I go around the corner and peek into where they pointed to, and like I look and there's a class in there, and I look at the professor, and the professor is my friend Rosarito that I went to SCAD with. She was a grad student when I was an undergrad at SCAD. I hadn't seen her in about she graduated in '06, so I haven't seen her in almost 6 years. And she's just sitting there, and she's teaching the class, and I'm like, what? And she's like, what? And I'm like, she's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I'm riding my bicycle across the United States, and I'm doing Shakespeare in the streets. And she's like, what? So, we kind of catch up really fast, and, right there, and the class is about to start. And she's nice enough to like open her class up to me, and she lets me like talk about my project and perform for the class. And we did like a Q&A session and everything. And it was really great, and it was really great to see Rosarito. And she was lovely, and so then she was like, when are you leaving? And I was like, oh, I'm leaving tomorrow. And she's like, you can't leave yet. We have to catch up. So I'm like, yeah, you're right. So I'm going to go down because University of Houston is right down the street from Texas Southern University. So I was like, I'm going to go down to University of Houston. I'm going to poke around there, the theater department, or see where I can perform, if I can perform. And I'll be back in like a little bit, and we'll try to, we'll get some coffee or something. So, yeah, so then I do just that. I leave, I head down the street to Texas, or to the University of Houston. I get there, I go straight to the theater department. I try to talk to some people. They weren't that happy to see me. Like, they were pretty friendly, but I guess there's a lot going on, and they were really busy, and they had crunch time, and I guess it's a week before spring break, so it was a little tight over there for the Spear Bearer. Spear Bearer didn't get like the most warm reception, which will happen. That's part of the nature of the beast. I'm not really doing that great a job planning or giving people a heads up where I show up. So anyway, I do end up, I talked to a couple of professors and like the marketing person, and they tried to be as helpful as they could. But it was madhouse over there. So, but when I get to the lobby, I was like trying to hint at like, is there a group of students somewhere I can perform for? And they're like, no. So finally I get to the lobby, and there's just a couple of kids sitting there, like some students sitting there, maybe like 6 kids sitting there, like going over their lines. I was like, hey, you guys want to see some Shakespeare? And I coaxed them into it, and I did a Julius Caesar scene for them. At Texas Southern, I did what scene did I do for the Texas Southern? Man, I'm drawing a blank. I don't know what I did for Texas Southern. I think I did Hamlet? I don't know what I did. But at University of Houston, I did Julius Caesar scene for them. So then, I did Julius Caesar scene for just these kids who were setting their lines in the lobby of the theater building. Then I leave. They tell me to go to this place called the Compound or the Community or something that was like an underground, like their cafeteria basically. So I went down there. There's a bunch of people there, and I walk into the place. There's like a Starbucks and a Taco Bell and all this in there, and just a lounge and pool tables, and there's a bunch of kids in there. It's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm like, hey, I'm shouting to everybody. I'm like, hey, I'm an actor. I'm from New York. I'm running with my bike around the United States. I'm doing Shakespeare in the Street. I'm gonna do some right outside. And then I was like, this is my new thing now. It's like, hey, you're never gonna see me again. You know, if you miss out on this, like I'm riding my bike from New York. I'm doing Shakespeare on the Street. You're never gonna see anything like this again. If you miss out on this, you're gonna kick yourself. You better get outside. So I did this my little shtick. I do it, and people, sure enough, people come outside, and it must have been probably about 25, 30 people came outside, and I think I did. Some girl challenged me. She's like, "What scenes do you do? What plays do you do?" And I was like, "I don't know. What plays do you know?" And she's like, "Do you have 12th Night?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do 12th Night." She's like, "Okay, let's see it." And I'm like, "All right." So, but I have to like set up the scene for people, you know. So that girl walks away, but I still end up doing the 12th Night scene for all the other like 30 some kids who were out there, maybe like the 20 or 30 kids, and you know, I think everybody really enjoyed it. I think this guy who works for the newspaper, the Houston University newspaper, asked to interview me. So hopefully I'll get an interview from him in the next few days. And yeah, that went really well. Some people come up to me and shake my hand and tell me they really like what I did, and passed out some cards, and that was good. And then as I'm leaving from University of Houston, I pass a girl in the front of the theater building who's like reading some book. She wasn't a theater girl, but she was reading like some book about feminism from the 1800s, and we had a conversation about that, which made me think, oh, I should do the Macbeth scene for you, where, you know, Lady Macbeth kind of shames Macbeth, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna call some other kids. So there's some other kids sitting in like the little courtyard there. I was like, hey, come over here, I'm gonna do some Shakespeare. So I performed for them, just sitting outside the theater building, like I don't know what they were studying. I don't think it was theater. So I performed for them. Then I rode back to Texas Southern. There's a bunch of dudes sitting out there arguing about A$AP Rocky and Lil B, like these two new young rappers, and they were arguing it was a really heated debate, and I just rolled up on them. This was like 6, 7 dudes, you know, and I was like, hey guys, I'm a rapper. And they're like, what? This is too convenient. And you know, I look all crazy and I'm on a bicycle. And I was like, all right guys, if I rap for you, if you like it, you gotta stay for my Shakespeare scene. And they're like, all right man. So I did a verse for them. I did something I just wrote, and I guess they liked it. And I was like, you guys gonna stay for the Shakespeare? And they're like, all right, we'll stay. And so I did the Shakespeare scene for them. I did the Macbeth dagger scene, which is good that I'm finding opportunities to do that scene, because it's the one that I'm really scared of somehow, that I feel like people won't get because it's so crazy. But they enjoyed it, and they asked me to rap some more, so I did a little bit more rapping. Then I went back to the building that I was at Texas Southern, the theater building, and there was another intro to theater class, which is what Rosarito was teaching. There's another guy who teaches an intro to theater class. I walked in his class. His name is Tim, oh my gosh, Tim Dixon. And he was nice enough to let me, I pretty much took over his class for like the last 10 minutes. And he wanted to see 2 scenes, and I did 2 scenes for them. I did the Hamlet ghost scene, and I did Romeo and Juliet scene. And I think they really enjoyed it. And they had some questions for me, and Tim Dixon was, Professor Tim Dixon was very nice to me, and yeah. And then I waited around for Rosarito because she wanted to hang out. So finally she came back from having dinner with her family and gave me and my bike a lift home, which was great because it would have been a crazy ride in the dark back, 17 miles back this way to West Houston. So she gave me a lift, and we caught up, and she told me all about, her experiences at Texas Southern and what she's going through there and being a professor for the last few years. And we just talked a lot about theater and life and stuff, and she bought me dinner, and it was great. And then I showed up back here, and that was it. That was my day today. And tomorrow I'm going to take off and head toward Austin, Texas, which should take me about 2-3 days to get there. And hopefully in Austin I meet back up with my riding buddy Brent, and we'll cross the desert together. And that's it. This is a really long update, but today was a crazy day. I think I performed all my scenes today. Yeah, that's it. Okay, Spear Bearer out.